Why Medicina? What's the driver behind making this project the single most important priority in my life? Well, on a collective level, the paradigm is one of intelligence and fulfillment of human needs. Now, Abraham Maslow and other anthropologists and sociologists have correctly identified that we as human beings have needs: physical needs, emotional needs, mental needs. And that's really what we are, right? When we think of what we are a body that has thoughts and has feelings. And we have needs around that, right? It's oxygen isn't a preference, it's a need. But we have other needs. We have needs for love and belonging, right? For the empathic brain, that's not a preference. That's like oxygen. We have a need for self-esteem. We have a need to grow and develop and become more. So in the hierarchy of human needs, number one is survival. Number two is security of survival. Number three is love and belonging. Now, we'll pause there for a moment because in my observation, there are large swaths of America and American culture with individuals and noticeable percentages of individuals that are not secure in their survival and have low levels of love and belonging, low levels of self-love, low levels of love and belonging. And by low levels, I mean that there are parts of large portions of the population that are ashamed and in shame, that are in secrecy and in shame. This part of me I don't want anyone to see because I'm ashamed of it. Well, shame isn't love, and isolation isn't belonging, right? And so to move that towards love and belonging is something that happens from both directions. One, self-improvement, self-development, so that we become more of what we and others can love and belonging. And empathy, understanding, and love to love more of what is, that doesn't fit into the mold of the cult or culture that we belong to, right? So just in the first three, there's large percentages of the population that are not secure in their survival, and even larger percentages of the population that have low quality love and belonging. But those are just the first three in our needs. We need self-esteem, to have ideals and principles and be working consistently towards those ideals, following those principles, to have a high level of self-esteem. We need to discover what we're good at, what we're excellent at. Right? And we need to then bring abundance and of value into the world by developing those gifts and bringing those gifts into the world in some way, right? And this is independent of security of survival, meaning one of the reasons people die early after retirement or get bored and die early after retirement is, independent of the need to survive and be secure in that survival. Even if you're a billionaire, there is a human need to discover and develop our talent and bring value into the world, create abundance for ourselves and others, regardless of how much money we have. It's a need to become more. And finally, we have the need to be connected with something, to serve something that is bigger than we are. A community, a family, a sense of beauty, a sense of ideals, a sense of God, Goddess, all that is. These are our needs. And if we overlay that with intelligence, right? Obviously, we're going to suffer if our needs are not met, right? You take away our oxygen, we start to suffer. You take away our self-esteem, we start to suffer. You take away love and belonging, start to suffer. Take away growth and development, we start to wither. Take away any sense of being part of something more than just getting through the day in a very self-centered way, and we're robbed of one of our needs. So, well-being increases to the degree that we fulfill our human needs and are around other people who are fulfilling their human needs. And intelligence increases as we do that more efficiently. Like, you can measure intelligence based on the efficiency with which a population goes about fulfilling its needs. Right? A very dumb culture will spend vast amounts of time, money, and natural resources to make things worse, to make things chronically worse, increase suffering that is unnecessary. A highly intelligent culture is constantly becoming more efficient at fulfilling its human needs, at realizing well-being, while consuming less and less time, money, and natural resources to do so. Right? A truly masterful and intelligent person is able to generate large amounts of sustainable well-being with little or no effort at all, right? It's mastery, it's competency. And so why, right? Well, when you look at an inefficient culture, a culture that's spending vast amounts of worry and time and money and consuming more natural resources per capita than any culture in human history, and yet many of its members do not feel secure in their survival. Even, quote, wealthy members are aware that, if the economy crashed, if I picked the wrong stock, if I got into a traffic accident with an uninsured motorist, I could lose everything, right? If my partner divorced me, if I got sick, if there was a medical bill I couldn't pay, I could lose everything. Not just money and a house to live in, but friends who melt away when there's a sense of need in a sociopathic culture, right? Where the people that need the most are treated the worst, not the best. An empathic culture, who's in the most pain, how can we help? A sociopathic culture, you really, really, really need help? Okay, I'm out of here because I don't want to invest the energy when you can't give it back to me in a hurry, right? So why? To become more intelligent, to fulfill more human needs with less energy. Is there anything more important than learning to do that well? So that's kind of, in the abstract. Now, on a personal level, I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars trying to explore and fulfill some of my needs. And in the broader culture, that hasn't worked very well, right? I have gifts that are not being brought effectively into my community, right? The cost of living in a place that a low-cost home costs $900,000. It's extraordinarily inefficient at fulfilling my own human needs. And I'm interested in learning to do that a lot better, right? There's nothing more interesting to me than spending time with people who share the goal of fulfilling their human needs as intelligently as possible, that are interested in collaborating to fulfill and become the best version of themselves while wasting as little time, money, and natural resources to do so. That's exciting. There's a real need for that, in the world. And so personally, if we can develop a model for doing that, you buy a piece of land like this, you use this type of architecture, you spend time together like this, you don't spend time together like that. And if that can be recorded and tracked on an app in such a way that others can replicate it and see, wow, here's how to have a 10x life, where you have 1,000% higher quality of life with less time, money, and natural resources than the lower quality of life in the default culture. So that's the why.